One of the many activities here on the Cal Poly campus is the student-run radio station, KCPR. This telephone pole, not the tower on the right, is where KCPR's 2,000-watt signal comes from. But before the signal leaves this antenna, a lot of work takes place. Let's travel back to the KCPR studios and see just what makes this radio station run. The studios are located in the Graphic Arts Building, on the second floor. Most people never travel further than the front door of KCPR, but as we pass through the lobby, we come upon the heart of the station, the main control room. In charge of the control room is the on-the-air person, commonly known as a disc jockey. He's the one who controls what sound goes to the transmitter. He can choose between 2 turntables, 4 cartridge decks, a reel-to-reel tape deck, 2 microphones in the newsroom, up to 4 microphones in the studio, and, of course, his own microphone. Luckily for the DJ, these different sources of sound aren't all used at the same time. By throwing the right switches and pushing the right buttons, the DJ can mix together the different sound sources and send what he wants back to the transmitter. Disc jockeys here at KCPR are on the air for a 3-hour shift, with the bulk of that programming being music. But there's more to being a DJ than just playing music. The FCC licensed DJ is in charge of the studios and also the transmitter through the use of this remote control unit. Jockeys at KCPR. One of them is Rusty Scher. He's known to his listeners as Russ James. Russ, being a disc jockey is more than just spinning records. Is it all you thought it was going to be?
It's a lot of fun, but also there is more than just walking in and picking up a couple of records and putting them on the air. We here at KCPR have a format, so we keep our sound fairly consistent all day long.
What is a format?
Our format basically consists of playing current songs, recurrent songs, which were songs that were hits about a year ago, and then the best of the oldies we can think of.
KCPR is a non-commercial educational station. That means they don't play commercials. What do they put in their place?
We program public service announcements. If any nonprofit club or organization has an event they'd like some advertising on, they just drop the information by our studios and we process it and then play them.
Who determines what order those go in?
They're determined by our log traffic director, who is in charge of our logs.
And what's a log?
Well, a log is kind of what we have to do at a certain time. Here's one right here. At a commercial radio station, these would contain all their commercials. At our station, it tells us what number of public service announcement to play at what time.
The man who determines what times things are played and who plays them is the program director. This year's program director at KCPR is Bob DeAragon. Bob, exactly what do your duties consist of?
My duties consist of scheduling our on-the-air staff members into specific times that they will be on the air.
Now, you also determine what type of music is played at those times.
That's right. We have a wide variety of music, ranging from contemporary Christian music, classical, country western, a top 40 style, and even a foreign music show.
Now, your format is determining when those things are played also.
That's right. Most of our stuff is live, yet a lot of it is done beforehand on tape.
As Bob said, many of the programs and public service announcements heard on KCPR are recorded ahead of time on tape. The man in charge of all the production is the production director, Chuck Swino. Chuck, how much work is involved in putting together a public service announcement?
Well, average spot is 30 to 60 seconds in length, and that takes anywhere from 30 minutes to 2 hours to put together.
You have a staff that works with you on this?
Yes, there's about 10 to 15 people who work on this most of the time, and they put their voice on tape and add music, special effects, or whatever else they want to the background.
Where do they get the information to do it from?
Various nonprofit groups send in the information and I give it to them, checking to make sure that it's something that we can do, and then they write the copy and do the spot.
You use the equipment that's surrounding us right now to put it all together.
That's right. We have 2 turntables, 2 reel tape decks, and 2 cart decks.
Also involved with production, but directly related to the Cal Poly Journalism Department, is KCPR's news department. This year's news director is Dave Curley. Dave, how many newscasts does KCPR put on?
Well, we have 4 newscasts a day, Rick. We have a 15-minute newscast at 12 o'clock and at 6 o'clock in the evening, and 2 5-minute updates at 9:55 and 2:55 in the afternoon.
How many staff members are involved in putting on these newscasts?
Well, we've got an overall staff of, I'd say, about 40 people, and most of those are broadcast journalism majors, so this is directly related to their field of study, but a lot are just people interested in doing some news and working with a college radio station.
Now, what all are they involved in as far as putting together the news?
Well, all aspects, actually. Going out and reporting a story, or going and getting on the phone and calling someone and getting the story, then writing it up, and then on the air reading it.
What types of news do you cover?
Well, we try and concentrate on the campus news, because no other station in San Luis Obispo really covers the campus as well as we try to. We also do local news, and along with our national, state, and a lot of sports and weather coverage.
What type of sports?
Well, we do all kinds of sports, not only in the newscast, but we go out and do live broadcasts of men's baseball, women's basketball, and women's softball, and as many things as we can live. And we also have 2 sports talk shows during the week.
Thanks a lot, Dave. The group responsible for keeping KCPR on the air and running smoothly is the engineers. One of those engineers is the studio supervisor, Don Reedy. Don, KCPR was completely constructed and designed by students, isn't that right?
That's right, Rick. Since 1968, when we first went on the air, all the transmitter modifications, studio rebuild projects, and regular maintenance has been taken care of by students of the electrical and electronic engineering department.
What kind of modifications have taken place?
We started out at 1.8 watts mono FM. We went to 10, then to 2,000 watts, and then 2 years ago we converted the main control room studios to stereo. And right now we're working on converting the production room facilities to stereo.
Which is where we're at right now.
We're standing in the facilities right now.
Now, the engineering department is also responsible for the day-to-day maintenance.
That's true. We clean and adjust, align, and whatever all the studio tape decks, tape recorders, cart recorders, and turntables, and take care of all the transmitting apparatus up at the transmitter site.
You also are on call on a 24-hour basis.
That's right. 6 o'clock in the morning calls are not uncommon.
Now, the students are all involved or volunteers, right?
That is true. The only paid personnel in engineering is the chief engineer, who is paid because of FCC regulation.
One of those people who don't get paid, but who probably spend at least as much time, if not more, than the chief engineer, is the general manager. This year's general manager is Randy Cardoon. Randy, what are some of the problems working with an all-volunteer staff?
Well, Rick, the biggest problem that we have is you've got people working and spending a lot of time here, and they don't get paid for it, and myself included, and the ability to keep them there and want to do a good job for the station and spend the time and put out a
and work it all around their class time, too.
That's right. People go to school here who work at KCPR. People have all sorts of classes around the campus, and they still manage to put away some of their time to work here.
What type of budget do you work off?
Very limited, really. The university system only allows us a very small amount, in our minds anyway, to run the station, so we accept various avenues of fundraising things, like we have an auction that we have once a year. We also will accept any donation as far as money is concerned, equipment even, and we also have an underwriting program which works out quite well.
Now, despite all the problems you've just brought up of working with an all-volunteer staff and getting money, is it a worthwhile experience being here?
It is, really, for me at least. I came here 2 years ago and have done many things, experienced a lot of things that otherwise I would not have done, like sports programming and broadcasts and hearing your own voice and going on. And of course I'd like to go into pursue the field of broadcasting, and that'll help me as I go along.
Thanks. So that's it, KCPR, Cal Poly's campus radio station. Hope the tour that we've given you will give you a little understanding as to how the station runs. I'm Rick DeBrule. I hope you enjoyed the tour.